And there's breaking news coming in right now on the biggest political crisis the country faces in Uttarakhand. President's rule to continue in Uttarakhand till the 3rd of May. The Supreme Court will be hearing the matter again on the 3rd of May, and until that time, President's rule will continue. No floor test will be held in the meanwhile on the 29th of April. So President's rule, which had been stayed a few days ago by the Supreme Court, will continue until the next hearing on the 3rd of May. Let's go straight across to India Today's Jugal Purohit for more on this. Jugal, take us through the details.
Well, Shiv, the hearing was to happen this morning, but on the request of Kapil Sibal, who is of course representing the deposed chief minister, it was fixed at 2 p.m. and the bench started hearing the matter immediately. Only just a few minutes back, Shiv, we've been given to understand that the hearing has to continue and 3rd of May is the date. This by default, de facto, means that the floor test on April 29th now stands cancelled or deferred, if one may say. The second aspect, the disqualification of the 9 rebel MLAs who hold the key in this extremely evenly contested election, that is to be decided tomorrow in the Nainital High Court. We'll have to wait and watch out what happens there. And of course, there is no lifting of the President's rule that will take place. But what is also very important, Shiv, for our viewers to understand the situation, today we saw that the court did ask some extremely difficult, extremely tough questions to the central government, which had imposed the President's rule in the first place. It took the central government to task on the issue of just how could it go ahead and carry out its actions. It said that the money bill had failed, but the speaker hadn't declared so who are you to come in?
Stay with me, Jugal. I want to go across to Munna Singh Chauhan, spokesperson for the BJP in Uttarakhand. Chauhan ji, आपका reaction इस ruling पे?
No, it's very simple. The basic grounds that were given for the proclamation of the President rule, that is gradually gaining strength.
Yes.
See, the controversy revolves around the passage of the appropriation bill.
Yes.
And the Speaker is taking undue advantage of the fact that the in-house proceeding has immunity from the judicial review. But immunity from the judicial review does not mean that the presiding officer of the House should act in an arbitrary manner. How is it possible that the presiding officer of the House is counting 32 as a majority and 35 as a minority? So this is a ground, and gradually this is gaining strength even in the High Court. We are hoping to, that ultimately the High Court will also appreciate the point of view that has been raised.
Mr. Chauhan, just stay with me for a moment. Nalin Kohli is speaking outside the Supreme Court of the BJP. Let's just listen in.
The 2 additional Solicitor Generals, Mr. Tushar Mehta and Mr. Maninder Singh, among other counsels, were present there. The Attorney General made some preliminary remarks. A set of questions before those remarks could be made by the Attorney General. The Honourable Bench of Justice Deepak Mishra and Justice Shivkirti Singh, they framed out and panned out a set of questions that they felt would broadly be some of the issues that needed to be considered during the course of this hearing. The Attorney General, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, also put forth a set of questions that the Honourable Bench may be pleased to consider as part of the issues that need to be interpreted. Some preliminary points were raised with regards to the 18th and the incident of the 18th, specifically to the question of the appropriation bill, as also the demand for a division which started right in the morning of the 18th by 27 BJP MLAs. And thereafter, the division, which did not take place, followed by 35 people going to the governor late in the night. With regard to the appropriation bill, it was pointed out that this was not sent to the governor till the 28th, which is 24 hours after the imposition of President's rule. The video recording of the sting involving the Chief Minister was also one of the points that came up. The petitioners, represented by their lawyers, had a set of contentions to make. The Honourable Supreme Court is pleased to fix the next date of hearing as Tuesday, the 3rd of May, Before that, the SLP that has been filed will, with some amendments, will be filed with amendments to the ground by Friday. Arguments will be expected to conclude somewhere by the middle of next week, Wednesday or Thursday. And thereafter, the bench was pleased to say that it would try and deliver a judgment before the start of vacations.
Which is 13th of May.
Which is the middle of May.
Middle of May.
Additionally, one of the points that came up from Justice Mishra was to consider the question of, after all of this is there, whether eventually the question of a flow test will arise. Of course, the order of a flow test, which was to be conducted on the 29th, the interim stay continues, and now the matter will be argued on the 3rd of May, which is Tuesday next week. आज माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने उत्तराखंड मामला, उसकी सुनवाई हुई थी। भारत सरकार की तरफ से अटॉर्नी जनरल साहब मुकुल रोहतगी जी और साथ में एडिशनल सॉलिसिटर जनरल्स तुषार मेहता जी और मनिंदर सिंह जी, अन्य वकील वहां थे। मामले की सुनवाई शुरू होते समय जस्टिस दीपक मिश्रा जी और जो बेंच है जस्टिस शिवकीर्ति सिंह जी की, उन्होंने कुछ प्रश्न प्रस्तुत किए जो उन्हें लगा कि इस मामले की सुनवाई के दौरान उन पर एडजुडिकेशन या उन पर इंटरप्रिटेशन की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी। इसके अतिरिक्त अटॉर्नी जनरल साहब मुकुल रोहतगी जी ने कई प्रश्न और प्रस्तुत किए, समक्ष रखे बेंच के, जो इस मामले से जुड़े हैं और प्रोसीडिंग्स के दौरान उन पर भी आर्ग्यूमेंट्स हो सकते हैं, इंटरप्रिटेशन हो सकता है। विस्तार से जो वो प्रिलिमिनरी सबमिशंस थे, अटॉर्नी जनरल साहब मुकुल रोहतगी जी ने 18 तारीख के घटनाक्रम सुबह से लेकर रात तक उसको विस्तार से रखा। किस प्रकार से सुबह गवर्नर साहब के पास 10:30 बजे बीजेपी 27 एमएलए गए थे, उनका एक मेमोरेंडम गया था डिवीजन के लिए। शाम को डिवीजन नहीं हुआ और उसके बाद एक बिल जो पारित नहीं हुआ उसे पारित दिखाया गया। इसमें स्पीकर की क्या भूमिका होगी, और उसके बाद 35 एमएलए, 9 कांग्रेस के बागी जिनको कांग्रेस कहती है और 27 बीजेपी के, रात को उन्होंने एक मेमोरेंडम फिर दिया था गवर्नर साहब को। अप्रोप्रिएशन बिल को लेकर भी कुछ प्रिलिमिनरी सबमिशंस ये थे कि जो बिल पारित नहीं हुआ और जिसे पारित कहा जा रहा है स्पीकर के तरफ से, वो बिल 19 तारीख की जगह 28 तारीख को गवर्नर साहब के पास भेजा गया, जबकि प्रेसिडेंट प्रोक्लेमेशन 27 को ही लागू हो गया था। जो स्टिंग है, जिसमें उत्तराखंड के मुख्यमंत्री हरीश रावत जी अपने लिए समर्थन खरीदने के प्रयास में लगे हैं, उस पर भी कुछ सबमिशंस हुई। रिस्पोंडेंट की तरफ से उनके वकीलों ने अपनी बात रखी। अंत में जो बेंच है, उन्होंने ये आदेश दिया है कि कुछ भी अमेंडमेंट जो होना है एसएलपी में, वो शुक्रवार तक हो जाए। मंगलवार 3 तारीख को अगले सुनवाई होगी। आशा है कि ये अगले हफ्ते के अंदर में ही सुनवाई समाप्त हो जाएगी, बुधवार बृहस्पतिवार, और उसके बाद बेंच की आशा है कि जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के वेकेशंस हैं तब तक जजमेंट सुनाने की आशा है। एक ऐसा सुझाव, एक प्रश्न, कमेंट बेंच की तरफ से आया था कि कभी ना कभी तो फ्लो टेस्ट की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी, तो इस पर भी विचार करना चाहिए। अभी तो मंगलवार को सुनवाई होगी, वो सुनवाई आगे बढ़ेगी, जजमेंट आगे जाकर आएगा, लेकिन इस दौरान भी इस पर भी एक सोचने की आवश्यकता पड़ सकती है।
सर, एक प्रश्न है, अपने ऑब्जर्वेशंस में अदालत ने ये बात कही कि क्या स्टिंग ऑपरेशन को सफिशिएंट ग्राउंड इंपोजिशन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट रूल के लिए माना जा सकता है? ये सवाल केस की तरफ था, इस पर क्या आपने?
The question is about the relevancy of the material on the basis of which the presidential proclamation of under Article 356 can undertake. Now, whether the issue is an isolated issue, a solitary issue, or it is a set of different issues and therefore should not be seen in a solitary sense. For example, the events of the 18th, as also the event involving the sting operation of the 25th. Would they constitute solitary issues separate to each other, or they need to be seen in the larger gamut? So while the main issue undoubtedly remains about the events of the 18th, whereby a situation has been created that an appropriation bill that was not passed has been shown as passed, can the sting itself be removed from the realm of contention and from the material that is available? So these are all going to be matters and issues that will be presented before the Honorable Supreme Court during the course of the arguments, obviously by the Attorney General, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, and the Additional Solicitor Generals, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Mr. Maninder Singh, and the other panel on the part of the Union. And of course, the other side would have their own set of arguments that they may be pleased to present. ये जो विषय आप उठा रहे हैं स्टिंग ऑपरेशन को लेकर, अनुच्छेद 356 जब लगता है, प्रश्न उठता है कि कौन से मटेरियल हैं जो रेलेवेंट है। एक इस पर चर्चा ये उठती है कि क्या हर विषय को अलग अलग देखने की आवश्यकता है, जैसे जो 18 तारीख को घटनाक्रम थे जिसमें जो मनी बिल था या अप्रोप्रिएशन बिल वो पारित नहीं हुआ, और क्या स्टिंग ऑपरेशन जो 25 तारीख की है वो अलग है। इन दोनों को एक साथ देखना चाहिए, अलग देखना चाहिए। स्वाभाविक है इस पर बहस हो सकती है। जहां तक प्रमुख बात है वो तो 18 तारीख की घटनाक्रम है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ एक मुख्यमंत्री टीवी पर दिखते हैं, हरीश रावत जी अपने लिए समर्थन खरीदने के प्रयास में लगते हैं। वो पूरा देश देखता है। पहले वो स्टिंग उसकी वेरिफिकेशन आनी थी, फिर वो भी उसकी वेरिफिकेशन आ गई है कि इसमें कोई डॉक्टरिंग नहीं है। वैसे भी कोई देखे तो उसे बड़ा स्पष्ट दिख जाता है कि इसमें कोई डॉक्टरिंग की संभावना नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है ये सारी बातें उठ सकती हैं जो बहस के दौरान अगले हफ्ते जब सुनवाई होगी।
थैंक यू।
I want to go across to senior Congress leader and former minister RPN Singh, who's with us on the phone line for a reaction. Mr. Singh, thank you for speaking to India Today on this first reactions on what the Supreme Court has said. The BJP claiming something of a vindication here.
Meaning, I think the matter is already sub judice. One court, the High Court, has already made a judgment that the President's rule imposition was wrong. All the things which are contested in the High Court are being contested in the Supreme Court.
Yes.
So I don't know how they would think that, why would they say that there's a victory to their cause? Because the case is still sub judice and the Supreme Court is asking exactly the same very questions which the High Court had asked. So I think it's a continuation, and I'm quite sure that what the High Court ruled exactly, that's what the Supreme Court will rule finally.
Do you believe that those questions that have been asked of the centre by the Supreme Court, they're quite interesting? Do you think they're going to be answered before that hearing on the 3rd of May, sir?
Meaning, we've seen how the BJP is trying to stall judicial process all in many cases, not just in the Uttarakhand case, be it in many cases that where there are things which indict the BJP, they've been delaying making the courts take any orders. What we see even in this, we are quite sure, because what happens in the House, everybody knows what happened in the Bomai case, that the final jurisdiction, what happens in the Assembly, is the jurisdiction of the Speaker. So the Speaker is deciding if the money bill is passed or not passed. So I think the BJP keeps saying, we just see BJP leaders saying all the time that the money bill wasn't passed. But has any court said that the money bill wasn't passed? Are they now also, they've got jurisdiction above the Speaker also? I think if the BJP stuck to what the law of the land was, they would get the answers very clearly, and they wouldn't have to run to court to clear their minds about what the law of the land is.
RPN Singh, thank you for speaking to India today. The BJP shouldn't be claiming any vindication, says RPN Singh of the Congress. Let's go straight across to India Today's Ashar Khan as well on this. Ashar, you've been in touch with leaders in Uttarakhand, including Harish Rawat, who you spoke to exclusively, throughout this entire saga that's playing out. Where does this really place the BJP and the Congress? Simplify it for us on where this current ruling puts the BJP and the Congress.
Well, the observations of the Supreme Court will certainly not be music to the BJP ears. They've asked, by and large, the same questions which the High Court asked.
Yes.
Namely that they've said that if the Speaker has said that the appropriations bill has passed, which means who's anybody else to question it. Secondly, they've also said that the Speaker is the master of the House. Thirdly, they've also asked a very pertinent question. Is an alleged sting grounds for proclamation of Article 356 of the Constitution in any state? These are specific questions to which the court is needing answers. There are other 8 questions also which have been put forward to the central government on this issue. So clearly, what the court has said, the court also asked that can we revoke President's rule for 3 days and conduct the protest, to which the Attorney General replied vehemently no. So clearly, these are tough questions which are in front of the central government, which they have to answer till Tuesday, and the hearing will go on Tuesday and also on Wednesday when Harish Rawat will be replying through his lawyers in the Supreme Court. So the fact of the matter is that the bench is interested in having hearing the entire case next week, and soon enough will pass the order to a similar effect.
Thanks, Ashar, for giving us that perspective on this political crisis that's played out at this point of time. Let's listen to what Kailash Vijayvargiya of the BJP has to say.
हाँ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने राष्ट्रपति शासन को कंटिन्यू करने का कहा है और जो फ्लोर टेस्ट होने वाला था अब नहीं होगा, क्योंकि शायद वकील ने वहाँ पर कहा है कि जो जिन 9 लोगों को डिस्क्वालीफाई किया उनको उनके ऊपर भी निर्णय हो, उसके बाद ही फ्लोर टेस्ट होगा तो शायद न्याय होगा। मुझे लगता है माननीय उच्चतम न्यायालय ने इसी बात को ध्यान में रखते हुए फ्लोर टेस्ट को अभी आगे बढ़ाया है और अगले 3 तारीख दी है।
कैलाश जी, जो कोर्ट से अभी आया है इसको कहाँ बीजेपी के लिए कितना मजबूत मानते हैं? क्या बीजेपी के फेवर में जाता है?
देखिए, सवाल ये बीजेपी और कांग्रेस का नहीं है, सवाल ये डेमोक्रेसी का और एक व्यवस्था का। जब उत्तराखंड की विधानसभा में हरीश रावत सरकार अल्पमत हो गई थी तो विधानसभा अध्यक्ष ने अल्पमत सदस्यों के माध्यम से बजट पारित किया। यह देश के अंदर प्रजातंत्र है, यहाँ बहुमत का सम्मान होना चाहिए। विधानसभा अध्यक्ष ने बहुमत का सम्मान नहीं किया। कुल मिलाकर इसी बात पर विवाद प्रारंभ हुआ है। हमें उम्मीद है कि जब भी फ्लोर टेस्ट होगा और उसमें जीत सत्य की होगी।
सवाल इसलिए भी उठ गया है क्योंकि स्पीकर को लेकर ही सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज सवाल भी केंद्र से पूछे। उन सवालों को किस तरीके से देखते हैं जिसमें कहा गया कि स्पीकर क्या बिल पास हुआ था, मनी बिल, और तमाम चीजें उनमें पूछी गई।
अगर आप पूरी प्रोसीडिंग को देखेंगे विधानसभा की तो बहुत सारा उसमें लेक्यूना मिलेगा, और जिससे हमने कहा है कि हमने पहले से ही गवर्नर को अवगत करा दिया था कि
Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has constituted a committee under the Transport Minister of Rajasthan, Yunus Khan, and all state transport ministers to submit a report on a bill to make fair